Good evening, and welcome to the League of Women Voters of Chicago, Zooming with the Alderman series of interviews. My name is Tina Brady Pettis. Founded 102 years ago, right here in Chicago, the League is a nonpartisan political organization which encourages the form and active participation of citizens in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. The Chicago League is one of hundreds of local leagues all across the country. These interviews with the aldermen are part of our efforts to educate people about those who represent us and setting the policies and ordinances that govern us here in Chicago. Today, our guest is Alderman Emma Mitts of the 37th Ward. Welcome, Alderman Mitts.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you taking the time.
Glad to be with the Chicago Urban League. League of Women's Voters, right? Correct.
Yes. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Please know that the Zoom session is being recorded and will be available for viewing after today on the League website. We'll be sending you, Alderman Mitts, and everyone who registered for this program who is not a member, a link to the video when it becomes available. Also, everyone should know that we have provided the Alderman a copy of the questions I'll be asking ahead of time. Before starting on those questions, we want to show you a map of all the 50 wards in Chicago. Now, let's move the cursor to see only the 37th ward. Now, let's get started.
Right.
Alderman Mitts, please describe your ward. Where is it? What are the main boundaries? What neighborhoods does it include? What is the makeup of the ward? Is it residential, commercial, or industrial?
Thank you. So I represent predominant African Americans constituents. There are a population of 54,000 plus in the ward of constituents. The boundaries of the ward is central on the west, and we go east as far as Hamlin to some portion. It's the very end. But up on the north, I go Grand Avenue, and on the south end of the ward is West End Avenue. Central will be the west. West End is the south. The north would be Grand, and primarily Hamlin would be the forest border to the east.
Okay. What are a few key issues facing the people of your ward?
Currently, crime is always one of the factors we have, but in addition to the crime that we have in the ward, we also have issues with housing, public school system as well, jobs is always, and economic development. Some of the key issues that we face in our wars today.
When did you first join the city council?
I joined the city council in January of 2000. I was appointed by Mayor Richard Daley during that time. So I've served under 3 mayors so far.
Right.
And since 2000, I've been reelected in those positions, 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015, and 2019.
Why did you decide to run again for Alderperson in 2019?
In 2019, we had a new mayor coming on, new views, and of course, there were more work that I needed to do in our community at the time that I wanted to get done. And those are some projects I'm working on now.
Okay. Do you have any other employment besides that?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is a full and a part-time, and then some in our community. When you want to provide service and you want to help to address some of the concerns that we have both in government and in the community, it is very difficult for us to even think about another job.
Yeah, this consume a lot of your time and energy as well. You're the chair license of Consumer Protection Committee on the council. What matters typically come before this committee?
More the license committee routinely is moratoriums. If one were to obtain liquor license and establishment, that would come through the committee, as well as companies like our ride share companies, businesses that in terms of DoorDash, Uber Eats, the Uber rides, those are issues come through the committee, as well as the party buses, anything that's dealing with license pretty much come through that committee. So, you know, we just finished up with sports betting that came through.
Mhm.
So when one looking to engage with licensing, usually that's where it lands at.
Okay. What, if any, changes would you like to see made in the operation of the council?
Well, they just made one change that I'm really grateful for, and that is that now that we are able to vote electronically, and we don't have to go through the roll call for people to vote, and then the public can be able to see who is casting that vote. It cuts down on time. And even when people's out of the room, when someone is out, so they have to cast their vote.
Okay. What are a few of the actions by this? I'm sorry. Oh,
There are a few other things that perhaps that I like to see them introduce, or and that is keeping our respect for one another in perspective as colleagues. And I like to see that take place in our council board.
okay. Respect is a very much attribute that's universal. It shouldn't just go in the council. It should go everywhere.
Well, right,
It
absolutely,
goes. It should be monopolized everywhere.
absolutely.
What are a few other actions by the city to reduce gun violence that you think have been effective or will be effective?
Well, you know, just recently they introduced the ghost gun, and our president have signed on and want to introduce that. The state have also done it, as well as the city council. So, or the city just co-sponsored the legislation, because whatever we can do to get guns off the streets is going to be very helpful, including the gun buyback that the city has been conducting for many years right now. But they're taking them off, but they're still coming in. And also just to make sure that these guns are being sold to the proper people, and they do a great background check on purchasing of guns.
Okay. Let's talk about community building. I had the opportunity to volunteer with you last year at your Mother's Day event. And I know
Thank
that you
you,
probably
thank
get
you.
you're welcome. And I know you probably get so many complaints that come into your office worried about like potholes or things, a certain thing that's going in your area, in your ward, I must say. What do you think that, or what do you do to help with the communication with your constituents from your ward? Do you do like newsletters? Do you do door to door? Do you have people come in sessions to talk about various things that's going on in your community?
Absolutely. So unfortunately, we went into the pandemic 2 years ago. But during my tenure in office, I hold a monthly block club president's meeting. So with the block club, and that's something I've done for my tenure in office, is meet and organize the president so that they'll know what to ask for from government. I can't do it all myself, so in order for them to be able to help, I need to educate them so that they can be able to help more. And just 2 Saturdays ago, we just came back for our in-person Block Club Presidents meeting. We meet at 8:30 in the morning, and they were so happy to be able to come out. And I was shocked to see as many that came out in the morning, because normally they give me a good turnout, 60, 70 people in the morning time for a Block Club meeting. I mean, I think that's awesome. And then I hold monthly community meetings every fourth Thursday of each month, so that I can keep the community abreast of what's going on, whether it's on the economic development side, whether it's on the council side, and also invite speakers out, whether it's CDOT, various departments, to address these concerns. So I decided to separate Block clubs from community meeting, because I think if you want to work with the Block clubs to get really down to things they need, you need to give them that time to ask, for the presidents to ask what can be done on their block. So we'll work it from the Block clubs, and then I take the monthly meetings, make sure I'm educating them on what's going on with the city, but what's at the most important issue at the time, what is economic development, whether we need to approve some projects or get their opinion and let them ask questions. So then they can also walk in. We stayed open all during the pandemic, where people was able to call in with service requests, or they could walk in and provide that service request. So we also have a newsletter that we do, that we go sends out to all our members to keep them informed of what's going on a weekly basis, that we do that, so that we can stay in touch as much as we can with each other. Mhm. And of course, my website got messed up, so I'm working on that website to get it back up and running.
Okay. Can you inform us like what projects now you're working on in your ward?
All right, now I stayed on because for 20 years I've always wanted to do a youth center. I couldn't understand why we couldn't have one. And so now we're building a youth center. The youth center is up on Laramie and close to Grand. So if you look at the map, I have a gated community that's across from the gated community, where by the hand club is and Pastor John Zyrus is building a youth center. Went through the city council last year, and the building passed out, and it's up and being built today in the neighborhood. So I'm very grateful to see that finally coming into fruition, as well as under Mayor Emmanuel, I was able to be the recipient of the $85 million Joint Public Safety Training Academy. And now that building is up and is looking very well on the west side, where we had nothing but trees for years, 30 years, nothing but trees. And now we have the Public Safety Academy, as well as a Boys and Girls Club that I'm working on, that's going to be at that location, and 2 restaurants, Peaches and Clovers, who are Black-owned restaurants. And I'm working with PCC Wellness Center. We're bringing in a new, we're adding an addition on to the Wellness Center that's over in the 5400 block on Lake Street. And we're working with Amazon is coming in the ward. So they're building their building, which is the construction is up already. And then we have the terminal. The terminal was a warehouse that was being ran by illegal activity. The new owner came in, and now they're making it into, the terminal will be like incubators, office spaces for small businesses to be able to run their business from there, as well as courtyard where people can be able to have food, and also rooftop where you can look downtown. We don't have to just be downtown to enjoy the amenities of downtown area. So those are some of the projects that are ongoing as we speak, in addition to Invest Southwest on the corridor. It is moving right along. We have the Chicago Avenue corridor, which
Okay.
is in my area. The Laramie State Bank is also included in the Invest Southwest, and that project is going to be moving forward probably like August or September
Okay.
this year. And then we, in addition, so once development started coming to the west side into the area, there are others who are looking to come. So I'm being very gracious and working with all the business, saying, okay, yes, come on, we want you. So we wanted to be looking at building a housing complex in the 3800 block on Chicago Avenue, where taking out old and putting in new and making
Okay.
it affordable for both mixed and residential with retail on the bottom level. And I got a plan for veterans. I mean, my mind is moving, and if they want to come in and people want to work, I'm trying to work with them. So I'm doing a lot of juggling. There is some vacant land on Chicago Avenue in the 5000 block, the south side of the street. So we want to bring some veterans home, and that would be a first as well for the community, because we have no veterans home, and they need a place to stay as well, and we need to be able to give back to our veterans. So those are some of the projects I'm working on.
Not some, that's a lot. And I love hearing the fact that you take an initiative to look out for our veterans, because I come from a family full of
Yeah,
veterans. So I appreciate that. And
yes,
I thank you.
yes, yes.
And I thank you for that. The league members have observed that the committee and the council regularly pass agenda items for which the actual contents and text of what is being approved and not available for the public to see until days after the meeting. This is because of the provision in Rule 41 that allows the mayor and city departments to present direct instructions introduction of items to the committee. Because no text is posted, the public does not have a chance to read or comment before the vote is taken. Would you support requiring that any such direct introduction items and their text be made available with an assigned item number to the public no later than 2 business days prior to the meeting?
I'm willing to work along with any process or procedures that one may have if it's going to make it better for everyone. And of course, we want to always be transparent as possible. So just as we are starting to use modern technology to vote, and maybe we can find ways that the public can be able to see items before we pass a vote, except for Rule 41 is a procedure that is used in city council to either bring an item up that's been ran in a committee, and sometimes you don't often know when those procedures are held or when someone is going to use that. But anything other than that, I'm happy to work along with anyone that would like to see some changes made.
Okay. Currently, one candidate for mayor or alderman does not receive at least 50% plus one in the February election. The top 2 vote getters are on the ballot in a runoff election in April. What is your view about using ranked choice voting in February to determine the winner in lieu of the runoff?
Well, I'm not really sure, but I'm willing again to work with anyone to see how that will work. I won't say I'm opposed to it, but I do know that majority always win, and the person running up would be the person who goes. But if there's another system that I'm not aware of, I am happy to be open to take a look at it and see if it make some much common sense, something that we should be doing as a whole, and try to move forward with it. We're in new days and times now, and things do change. So I'm not stuck on just what has been procedures, because we're there to make it new procedure, and also to make sure that we are working along to ensure our public is engaged as well.
I'm happy to hear that because people need to understand or very understand that things continue to evolve. So we have to evolve with our consensus to
Right,
make sure they are abreast of everything that's going on. We have to reach out to them on their level as well. So that's good to know. If the league,
absolutely. We have our, let me just say this, we have our younger population who are very technical savvy. And
Mhm.
if they find new ways to do things, we have to be open, because I do recognize that voice should be heard in many ways. And what was good for us 20, 30 years ago is not what the younger generation may look at now. So why don't we come together to try to make it better, where we can all grow together?
Absolutely, absolutely. If the league wanted to support one of your initiatives, what step will you recommend the league to take? For example, asking members to call or write their alderperson, sending written comments from the league to the appropriate committee members or all the members of the city council.
All of the above. And whatever works, whatever works, I got to tell you, you know, we have to do a little bit of everything now in order to get our voice heard. So whatever method that you use, if one don't work, you certainly don't stop there. You have to try something else. And I think that that would be a good thing for us to do, is to reach out. If one thing, it's sort of like, I'll send you a text. If you don't answer my text, I'll call you on the phone. And if you ain't answering the phone, I'll send you an email. So there are different ways to communicate, and we need to make sure that we are using all those tools.
You didn't mention one thing. What about door to door? Do you recommend, even with all the things you just mentioned, what about still continuing going to door to door?
I think that that would be good. It's just that a lot of people still don't want to open doors, but you have to go door to door. You
Okay.
have to do the door to door. And actually, I really like calling up seniors and different ones just to see if there is anything they have, because it's you haven't been able to do that. And
Okay.
even with the virus that we have now, um, the only thing you do is a lot of mailing. That's one reason you could do mailing and other material things. But the summer, I think that we'll be able to go door to door.
Okay.
At least when the peak is coming back up. We don't have to kind of learn from the virus that we're in. So
Okay. What are the several things you would like to get done or at least started during the remainder of the term within 2023?
all of the things that I spoke about early, and trying to get those things done, including events that I want to do in terms of my Mother's Day event that I'm scheduled to be hosting coming up for Mother's Day. In addition to the Gospel Fest, I want to get that back on the books as well, and do do meetings with my community. We do a lot of community meetings and um, work on our stakeholders. So it's a lot of time consuming Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, and support our faith base at the same time. So I want to keep working. There's plenty of work to do.
Okay. This conclude our interview. Alderman Mitts, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and we learned a lot from you and all your accomplishments and on your major accomplishments that you're trying to do in your ward. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank
Reminder
you
to
for having me. Yes.
Okay. Reminder to everyone watching, a link to this program will be found on the Chicago League website. And everyone who is registered for today's program who is not a league member will receive an email from the link, along with an invitation to join the league, as well as sign up for notices and future programs. Next week again, join us May 5th at 6 p.m. We hope you will register to join us for Zooming with the Alderman program, where we're featuring Alderman Andre Vargas Jr. for the 40th Ward. Thank you all and have a good evening.